know the wager between you two, and then secondly,
There's been no wager. Second question.
For both of you, obviously the Big Ten hasn't had a lot of success in the playoff. The SEC has. So I guess I'm sort of wondering how much you think a game like this can either reinforce that narrative of SEC dominance or take some of the air out of it, especially given how rarely these two conferences play in the regular season ever.
Go ahead, Des.
I think that obviously if Michigan wins tomorrow, then you still got Alabama in the conversation, so you still got SEC teams. I don't really, think that takes a lot out of that conversation, so to speak, because you still got. And to me, it's not really SEC domination. It's more Alabama domination, But that's just my perspective. So I can't tell you how other people who may think it's SEC domination will view it. But even if Michigan wins tomorrow, you still got Alabama over there hovering. And Alabama's a defending national champ. I know people really excited about Georgia because, they were undefeated until they played Alabama. But that's the point. They were undefeated until they played Alabama. Alabama's still like that team. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
Talk about Jim Harbaugh. I live in Baltimore. We have his brother John, playing, coaching for the Ravens. Do you see anything that his brother John's helping him out this year? Making him look better, or is John just realizing everything's getting better? He's finally finding a way to get Michigan back on what Michigan was.
Well, the first part of that question I couldn't answer because I don't know what John's doing. I think that John is busy trying to get his Ravens back, back on point because, Lamar's been out. They got the shit kicked out of them last week by the Bengals, So I'm not sure he's worried about what's happening with the Wolverines, my friend. He has enough problems in Baltimore that he needs to address.
Right. And I have a quick question for another follow-up question. You guys are friends on College Game Day, and you guys both went to Michigan and Georgia. Is there a friendly little bet going on that if one team wins tomorrow, you guys are going to go?
I answered that question at the beginning of this. I don't know, maybe you came in late, but I told him as of right now, we do not have a wager.
You should. Somebody should do something.
Okay. You asked your question. Yeah. You asked your question. Don't tell us what we should do or should not do. We'll figure that out.
All right, stay tuned for that tomorrow.
Possibly, potentially not.
Okay. Well,
next. Hello, Desmond. Actually, I would like this question for you to answer this question if you can. Can you give me a sense of, as an alum of the University of Michigan, just what it has meant to you, the pride that has seemingly been always there's been, Michigan pride, but just this season with the win over Ohio State and the way that this team has really re-entered kind of the national picture and the narrative. If you could speak to that and how proud it makes you as an alum. And at the same time, actually another question too, about just how good this Michigan team is and where you think it ranks kind of in the history of great Michigan teams.
Well, I would take the last question first. And since this season isn't complete, I don't want to rank this team, because who knows? If they win tomorrow, they may win the whole thing. And so it's hard to rank them now when they're still, they're still playing. So I just don't think that's fair to this team. Obviously, they've done a tremendous job. The turnaround from a year ago to this year has been completely remarkable. We're talking about a team that was maybe picked to finish fourth in their division, was not even ranked before the season began. And here they are right now, with an opportunity tomorrow night to play against one of the best teams, the consensus number one team in the country until a few weeks ago, the Georgia Bulldogs. And if they're able to somehow find a way to win that game, then they will find themselves in Indy once again, but this time playing for the national championship. So that's just a remarkable turnaround. The pride for me, it really comes in being happy for these kids, like my legacy is my legacy. So I don't, have any issues with what takes place on the field from a personal standpoint. but I always want these guys to be successful. You want guys to have successful careers. You want them to have happy experiences at your university, at your alma mater. And so for these guys to be able to hang in there, because it's been some rough times, some rough years for them. And, they've been just beaten to death in the media. And they've watched their head coach, Jim Harbaugh, just dragged over the coals. And for them to, some people transferred, but it's probably good some people got into the transfer portal and got the hell out of there. But for those that stayed and hung in there, it says those who stay will be champions. And for them to stay and hang in there and fight with Harbaugh, and now they see themselves at this point, I'm so happy for them that they're having this experience. I think they deserve it. I think the coaching staff, especially the new coaches who came in here under such, tough circumstances, really tough circumstances, those guys, chose to join the staff, but they did, and now they're being rewarded. So to me, I'm just happy to see that these guys are experiencing this level of success. And I'm very, very, very proud of the AD, Ward Manuel, for making the moves that he made. Because this time last year, everybody and their mama told Ward he needs to fire Jim Harbaugh. And had he listened to all the outside noise, he would have pulled the trigger. And at this day and age, when so many ADs are really quick to pull the trigger and get rid of their head coach, Ward Manuel did not do it. They went to the table, restructured the contract. They got rid of Don Brown. They brought in some new coaches. And, I have to give credit and kudos to the AD, Ward Manuel, for making the moves that he made to put the program where it's at today. So I'm just happy for Ward, as an AD, making a tough decision, but sticking by it, and happy for the coaching staff, those who joined, and then the players, man. You have to be happy for these players, for them to go through what they've been going through and to be at this place, and playing the game tomorrow.
As a follow-up, so this year specifically, how has the situation with COVID-19 impacted the broadcasts, impacted protocols on set, how you guys broadcast? What changes have been brought by that?
Did you say me?
Either one of you. It's fine.
Oh, no, because it broke up. How did the protocols on set change? Well, before COVID, we would have fans come up and take pictures after the show was over. And not only sponsors, we have sponsors too. We would have a tent that we would go sign autographs for our title sponsors and stuff like that. All that has pretty much been eliminated now because of COVID. So we don't have the fans who are coming up to the set now taking pictures or any of the sponsors. So that has really, changed as far as some of the COVID protocols are concerned.
Thanks, Bill. For Desmond and David, you just sort of touched on the quarterbacks, but I was curious your impressions of how Cade McNamara has handled having JJ McCarthy behind him, how Michigan has used him, and also, do both of you think that using JJ McCarthy is part of Michigan's game plan on a Friday night, a major part of it?
I think that Cade McNamara has handled it masterfully. I think he's had some help in dealing with that situation, because if you read, quotes from Cade, it's not an easy situation to deal with. I think that the coaches have handled it extremely well. I think that Cade has showed maturity, but I think also that having JJ behind him has helped push him and make him a better quarterback also. And I believe that he's bought into the mantra, the team. So he understands that, you have a kid with this type of talent, he has to see the field, and everyone knows this. Like, everyone sees him in practice, like, this guy can help us win games. And so he has to see the field, whether it's, a package here, a package there. And we're not talking about putting him in garbage time, doing some cleanup duty. No, when the game is still in the balance, he needs to be out there. And Josh Gaddis has done a tremendous job of inserting JJ into games, and he will continue to do that because he has that type of talent. You just can't sit it on the bench. So I think everyone understands, what they're trying to accomplish, and they've bought in, and I think that's why it has worked and been effective so far for Michigan? Because I don't think that formula works at a lot of for a lot of teams.